Let some people get piled on here. Share it if you like. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's Thursday. The weekend is near. Good morning, guys. How's everybody doing? Let some more people pile in. We got some invites out. Maybe Frank will stop by. Maybe Charles will stop by. Who knows? How's everybody's week gone so far? This is the Friday. I still work on Friday, but it's always weird because Fridays, for me, Fridays is where if I'm dispatching, I want my trucks covered by noon. If there's no problems, I'd like to leave, shut down everybody, things, get everything done. Hope everybody's waking up this morning. Hope you guys are getting motivated, getting your load board set up, checking on your drivers, getting your stuff, your spreadsheets ready to go, getting your networking set up, talking to your team in the morning, bouncing between the groups to see what they got going on. What are they working? What's up, guys? Welcome to Shaggy's Consulting and Training. Hey, man, come on. If you're new, I always like to tell you, if you're new, this is Shaggy's Coffee in the Morning. We go live Monday through Thursday, sometimes Friday, and just talk about things that's going on in trucking. And it's funny too, because every day I do these videos, I'm like, man, am I doing them too much? Man, I used to make fun of people doing them every morning. But it's kind of fun because I get on, I get to talk, it gets my brain thinking. I know it gets your brain thinking because every morning I go live and talk. Somebody's wife's watching, somebody's kids are watching, somebody's dad's watching, somebody's husband's watching, owner operators watching, and they hear one thing, or they hear a conversation, or they get to see one thing that may change something that they're going to do that day or that week or their mindset of their business plan. And so we continue the journey of my new webinar coming up on August 13th. And we're thinking about those 6 things that keep the trucking business going, like understanding the trucking company, understanding the difference of compliance and safety, 1 to 2 trucks to 10 trucks, 20, 30, 40 trucks. And then today we were going to go on understanding cost operations between 4 different types of equipment. It's a huge topic because not only do you need to understand your equipment, you have to understand the different models of equipment. And I'm not talking about trucks, trailers, dry vans, and stuff like that. That's important too. And where we're going to get them and how we're going to get them and what credits needed, how we'll release those to owner operators, and then how we will fine sense them. That's another set of equipment. That's a whole other question of a topic. But right now, for all the people that come back and watch the video later, there'll be a lot because everybody's still waking up. They're sleeping. They're in the docks. They're getting delivered. But today's about a team. A team. What does the word team mean to people? And if you have a team and everybody's trying to get along and one person just doesn't fit the team, it could cause problems with the rest of the team, even if that guy's one of the best workers you ever had. If people can't get along, it doesn't work. If a customer doesn't like you, but they like that guy, it won't work. So what does team mean to a trucking business? Do you think a lot of people fail because they don't understand what team means? How do you get to the next level without a team? How do you functionally get out of the truck without your team helping you do it? How do you ever get to expand your business if you don't have a team that you can trust or control or be able to puppet master so you can get it done the way you want it? You're the leader. It's your business. It's your team underneath you. If you're expecting a team to do everything for you and you just ride along, do you think that's ever going to work? So this whole thing of 6 topics that we're doing in this webinar coming up, it's the different ones from why is a brokerage important, what to do with customers, to a smaller carrier compared to a bigger one? When you have 300, 400 trucks and a bunch of trailers, sometimes the brokerage is irrelevant when you get that far. But still, even at 300 trucks, how do you manage the customers without having leverage for other carriers, without putting it on the load boards or doing something illegal? I see illegal shit every day. Every day. I seen an authority that's only 2 weeks load book a load with a broker, and the compliance department somehow approved it, and they took a load down the road without even authority active, and they think it's all right. They didn't do nothing wrong. What if your kid was in the car they killed? They ran you over. That one little thing they were doing to make it happen. Isn't that when those things happen? Why would you put yourself in that position? Well, because you don't know what you're doing. You're lost. You're freight chasing. You're trying to book loads. Your authority's not even active because you're confused. You know what I mean? That's not good. And it's funny because you hear one conversation like that, then it comes three and four. So I'm getting off track. Let's stick to the team. What does a team mean to you? I have a team. I have Isaiah and I have Don. I have Justin. I have William. I have Allie and Kathy, and then I have my wife. I have Tom, the guys at Thunder, Scott Ramsey, Jared and Nate. They always answer when I call. They supply me load boards so I can, or e-carry check supplies me boards for my whole team so I can use those boards to show you guys. How in tune are you to your team? Do you check with them weekly, daily? Do you know what's going on? Do you guys have a plan of action that you're going to do to change your current situation? Maybe your team's just your wife. Do you guys sit down and talk? Do you understand where you're going with your business? Are you guys wearing the right hats and position to move to that next level, or are you just chasing from behind? What if it's your 18 to 21-year-old daughter that's on electronics? How do you get them to become part of your team and get off electronics so they learn something about what you're doing with your business? Would that help you? That you're adding to your team. What if your team's four virtual assistants? Well, if they're doing what you taught them and they're doing what you need them to do and they're following what you're doing and they're right there on the screen with you, it's still a team. What are you doing with your team? Where are you going with your team? Because you got the 6 parts to this webinar coming up on August 13th that I'm going to do on a monthly basis. This isn't building a brokerage. This isn't starting a trucking company, and it's not dispatching. This is a little bit of all three points. This is what you should do to start your trucking company, change your trucking company, or alter what you're currently doing. But how do you do that without a team? How long can you guys make it with your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trucks trying to do it by yourself while you're driving? And when you pick your team, how important is it really to research the partners that you're putting to that team? I don't think anybody does. Like every day I see it. Because you go to all these places where, you know, you do this. Or you get your LLC, you get your escorts, you get your bond, you get your insurance, you get your load boards, you get your stuff, you get your broker packet, you get your stuff things, and you get going, right? That's what Mike Castile just said, right? How do you get past one truck, 2 trucks when you're not married? You ain't got no kids, but you got money and you got ambitions and drive. How do you build a team? How do you do the marketing? How do you back it up whenever you're out there and everybody's tired of the smoke blowing up their ass and they're tired of people promising $10,000 to $12,000 a week, 15 minutes, and we figure out the real world, it wasn't really like that. It was more like 2:30 to 3 and $3 and $3.50 and stuff like that because everybody's got to eat. It's about building a product and have multiples. It's like taking one turnip and turning it into 20 instead of trying to squeeze one. You ever see people do that? They work so hard to squeeze one fucking turnip. They squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. Nothing comes out of it. But we sure do try. It's like, go get more turnips. Well, what kind of turnips do I get? Because the first turnip didn't have no juices coming out. Well, why don't you go get one that covers everything for you and all you do is make profits like juices coming out? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, why don't you go get guys that diverse? There's owner operators. Why don't you flip your company trucks to lease purchase? But if you even fix it to lease purchase, you're still stuck, but you're not paying for everything. You have time. Now, if you go lease purchase a piece of shit that's going to put a guy in a hole and you already know it's a breakdown cost because you're trying to get rid of your cause, well, then what the fuck did you think's going to happen? I mean, you're going to set a guy up to fail to diversify your problems when your problems are already shit? Or are you going to set him up because the truck's nice, it's good, it's working, you got the freight, he actually has a chance to flip your expenses and make more money and make you more money you weren't making in the first place? So when you start putting brokerage, dispatching, trucking together, how do you do it without a team? That's the question, Mike. Everybody listening. How do you get to that level without a team you can trust? I see guys that get to 5, 10, 15, and 20 trucks by themselves and they hire one paper pusher. But we get so caught up, we leave the customers, we leave the brokerage, we leave the other dispatching and controlling the trucks on the table, and we leave all the residuals too. So what the hell? What's the point of doing it that way if you're leaving all the money on the table? Well, it goes back to the point. Well, who are you? Do you want to be a one-man show and just go with the flow and hope it all works? Do you want to be an owner operator, leases on and using somebody else's team to help you, and that's all you get with no diversity? Or do you want to open your own authority and have a plan from the beginning about why you're doing it, and with the compliance and safety and how it works for more than one truck, and then how to understand the cost, and then where to build local, dedicated, regional lanes to find the freight that's not on the load board, and to build spreadsheets to communicate to people and to tell them what I need. And then, why is a brokerage important to capitalize on all this stuff that you're networking, and then knowing what to do with it after? And then if I was to do 7 hours, it'd be how are you going to divide the hats to build the team? Good morning. So, what is team to you? What does it mean? This is my question. I was going to do understanding cost today, but I'll do that on Monday. That's another one of my hours of the webinars. We'll talk about why people are so confused in the world today because we're always worried about what fucking Mike's doing, what Shaggy's doing, what James is doing, what Jim's doing, what Kathy's doing, but we're not worried about what we're doing. You guys ever get that? Look at yourself. I guarantee today the 6 people on there worry about what the other people are doing, what stuff's going on. I mean, there's obviously we have to pay attention to the stuff that's going on because it definitely affects what we're doing, right? Everything does. Weather, storms, tornadoes, fires, damages, war, government, Biden, whatever. I get it. Your kids, family, neighborhood. Everything affects trucking. What do you guys think? What does team mean to you? Because if you don't know what it means, you're probably not using one and you're probably not doing nothing with your business. Just the truth. And hey, you could have 2 company trucks and an owner operator and you drive one and get along on a couple brokers running what you like for the last 2 or 3 years. And suddenly everything changes. Well, when it changes and you lose those brokers, you have to restart again because you didn't do it before. How are you going to maintain? How long are you going to drive the truck and still pay for those other 2 trucks and call that a business plan? So how do you move forward without a team? That's going to be my topic all day. I'll be like, how's your team? Who's your team? What's your team? Who's helping you? Are you doing it all by yourself? That's crazy. You can't find nobody to help. That's why we built this company. We got dispatching, we got the brokerage, we got soon the trucking, we got compliance, we got Cornerstone Insurance, and we got, Harbor Capital Equipment Finance. I mean, there's so many different things you can do. Like, one of the Sorry, I think disappeared. So many different things you can do. You know what my favorite thing to do was when I it's funny because everybody says they can't, right? So imagine if you built the product, built the lanes and the freight in the first place. Then you went to that guy over my shoulder at Harbor Capital and you got set up with him where he pays you points for referrals. And imagine if you were like, you had the product and everything, and you knew for a fact, based off your credit, that you could get $25,000 to $30,000 trailers with like 10% or less down. Isn't that any? And you're like, really? Yeah, it's crazy. Weird how that shit happens. So you get the down payment from the owner operators because they would have to rent one themselves or rent one from you. And you use their down payment to purchase your trailer and then you rent it to them. Isn't that stupid? It's dumb, right? Let somebody else pay off your trailer because they need one. But we don't do it. All these guys like owner operators don't do nothing for you. Well, maybe your story wasn't right when you did it. Maybe the compliance is safety. Maybe the way you hire. Maybe it was your dispatching product, but you had the front. There's always a story, and it comes back to your team. Do you have a team, or are you trying to grow and do it all by yourself? What does team mean in trucking anymore? It's a trick question. It's like relationships, brokers, trust. What do you guys think? I think you guys don't like hearing me talk no more. It's like boring. Okay, so I'm not gonna stay on forever because I come on every day. Been on 17 minutes. Shared a bunch of groups. We got 3 to 9, 10, 15 people come in. Just wanted to come on and give you an idea this morning to write down on a piece of paper what does team mean to me. And if I'm going to go somewhere, evaluate myself and say, what do I have for a team? Write down a piece of paper, put the partners you have on there, and think about each piece of trucking, the 6 topics of trucking, and figure out how those pieces are helping your product grow and call that your team. Look at each one of them. Look at your fuel cards. Look at your factoring company. Look at your insurance. Look at your dispatching. Look at your owner operators. Look at your company truck, your lease purchase. Look at yourself. Look at your wife. Look at your kids. And look at your family. Look at your friends. You know what's funny? I always listen to all these people talk about how great they are at trucking. And then I always say, well, you are. Well, they talk about sales. They talk about this. They talk about that. They say how they're good. And then while they're bragging about all this stuff, you always ask them one question. So if I was to go through your Facebook feeds, across your Facebook feeds and everybody, because you want customers, you're growing, you're adding owner operators, you want to do all this stuff. If I was to find everybody, all your Facebook friends and everybody you know through history, from the day you started walking to that lady that wiped your ass, to her kids, all that stuff, how many people know you're in trucking? How many people know what you do? Do you even care? Well, that's obviously why you're still working for brokers and you don't have no customers and you're not networking and you have no team. Because if you can't work with people you know, how are you going to work with the rest? These people all work somewhere. They all know people who work somewhere. Hey, what's up, William? So, how important, William, is a team? Having a team to get where you need to go. You think that's what stops most people? I have the right team. I got to start picking a better time to do this. That way I can get people to actually talk back at 7:30 in the morning. What is it? 7:41 somewhere, 6:41 somewhere else. Think about it, right? Everybody that flies through here, if you draw a poster on the wall and you wrote the word team, what does team mean to your current business plan and what you're doing? I'm going to leave it at that today. Team. If you guys need help building your team, you guys need help with consulting, you need help with compliance, safety, insurance, whatever you guys got help with, we can help you. You need to learn in the business, learn dispatching, trucking, whatever you want to learn, we can help you. Just call that phone number like I tell you every day. Hit our website, join our Facebook group, tell a friend. I mean, if you're gloomy in this business right now, call us so we can brighten your day. I mean, seriously, like, let us motivate you. I'll get you excited. But I mean, if you're broke, your bank account's nothing, and your credit score's all fucked up, and you already had 18 breakdowns and stuff. If you got drug testing program flunked, and your CSA score or your PSP score is shit, and you know it. I mean, if you went and got your authority and you ran it in the ground and you own a bunch of trucks and each one of them's tagged, I mean, there's things that we cannot fix. Stupidity stupidity of fucking shit up in a business where you wouldn't do this type of business anywhere else. We can't say that. So, if you guys have any questions real quick, I got 8 minutes. I'm clocking out at 30 minutes. I'm only going to stay on like 30 minutes. So if you guys got 8 minutes, if you guys got any questions about what's going on, what I can help you with, customers, networking, tricks, calling customers, networking, adding owner operators, dispatching, networking, let's do it. Whatever you guys got. What is your problems? What are you guys having trouble with? Why can't you build a team? It's like when you're in church. It's like, you come up to the. I do actually every morning. My buddy Dan gave me this book, and every morning I read these verses out of here. Like today was a really good one. Today is I'll read it to you. Today is August 3rd. It's called Reflection of the Day. Says there's 12 steps designed specifically for people like us as a shortcut to God. The steps are very much like strong medicine, which can heal us of the sickness of despair, frustration, and self-pity. Or sometimes we're willing to use the steps or the plan. This is really cool. I read this morning. It's actually August 3rd. It's in my book that Dan gave me right here. And it talks about trucking. It's weird when you read this book and you have a daily reading and a prayer, and it almost relates to something that we're feeling in trucking every day. Like this one talks about, perhaps it talks about constantly tendency, your gut, where you feel in the gut. It talks about um, I could try to be cheer. Everything seems to be leading me in despair. Talks about self pity. Talks about being down on ourselves, stuff like that today. And it's like weird. And I wonder how many people are in frustration, self pity, sickness, despair right now over everything that's going on. It's like that one word with lots of stupid excuses repeatedly for everybody else. Or are we doing it for ourselves? I don't know. So the prayer says, may I pull out the secret guilt inside that makes me want to punish myself, beat myself, yell myself, or make myself depressed. May I probe my despair and discover whether it is really an imposter, self pity with a mask on. Now that I know that the 12 steps can bring relief, may I please use them instead of wallowing in my own discomfort. So I was reading that this morning and I kind of relate that when we're lost and we don't have a business plan. It's right here in this book. It's called A Day at a Time. My buddy gave it to me. And I read it every day since he gave it to me because it gives me an inspiring inspiration about my own companies and business. And I get into that and I forget because if I need more dispatching clients, do I go tell my dispatchers to do it or I get it? If I need more customers, do I yell at the guys when I run a company? Well, yeah, but then do I need to lead by example? Yes. Do I need more compliance clients or I need help with compliance? It's my job to step up and do that. But everybody gets caught up making excuses, getting depressed, wallowing, they're a loser. Man, I've done it so many times in business because of disappointment. It's usually in myself because I lose faith, I stop being proactive, and I get distracted. I get distracted by uneducated people that have no clues in the industry trying to tell me what they're reaching out for or what their angle is or whatever. And the only thing I know is work. These 6 topics I come up with: going back and restructuring, understanding the compliance and safety, the hiring, the questions, which clients fit best instead of hiring everybody that drives a truck, and really understanding the cost and putting a 7-day plan down so I know those numbers, because if I don't make it, it doesn't work. Hey, didn't that burst come to what's going on? Like, literally, William. Like, how many times in the last few months have you constantly, have you got frustrated, had a little bit of self-pity, depression, guilt, blamed yourself, made your stomach upset, gave you headaches? How many people are in that boat? I mean, if you don't look somewhere, how will you ever get the answers? I do it all the time. I get caught up. I mean, there's times where I've called William and talked to him just to get my brain on track, and he's gave me advice. Isn't that weird? Sometimes when you talk to your partner, it's hard because you're both in the same boat, so you have to get other visions from somebody, but you don't want to do that because it's none of their business. So then you sit there doing exactly what this book said today, getting more depressed, more disgusted, more frustrated. But then we look at like William. He's got a warehouse. He's got capability buying trucks. He's got the whatever else he's doing with the car line, the power things, and everything else. With his potential, and I've said it 100 times, if he had the right team, how far would he go? If he had the right team, how much more positive would he be? If he had the right team, how much weight would he take off different pieces of his neck and his shoulders? 2 minutes, guys. And I'm going to jump off. You guys got any more questions, messages, or whatever? I think I'm going to start reading this off at the beginning of the show. I love this book. And I don't care if you guys like my religious side or not, because it's kind of, they're going to be like, this guy's a hypocrite or something. I don't even know what hypocrite means. I'm going to look that up real quick. Because 1 minute he's preaching, 1 minute he's talking smack, 1 minute he's telling you about these weird things, next minute he's bummed out, next minute he's this. I'm just human. Just because I cuss doesn't mean I don't go to church. Just because I cuss, the book says I can forgive myself anytime I want. So I call it churchinese and truckinese, because if you don't talk in truckinese, you freaking people won't understand it. And if you don't talk, then you got to talk in churchinese, because if you talk in truckinese and churchinese, you won't have no churchinese. So it's like you're screwed. So you got to learn how to flip the switch on and off. Right. That's what I tell everybody all the time. I'm a freaking truck driver, man. Like, there ain't nothing pretty about it. Only on YouTube and Facebook is it pretty. It's freaking trucking, man. Like, there's piss bottles in parking lots. There's nowhere to park. We're always in a hurry. We never got time to take a shower. We don't get time to do anything at all. I mean, maybe if you live on the road, you're single and it's you and your wife and you're just cruising the country. But when me and Melissa were on the road, hell, even if your road is a truck and a half, you still hit Walmart every Friday to grab. I remember back in the day, if we Friday was my favorite day because we hit DVDs, because we had the DVD player, and the only time we could take a break's when we're doing the flip on the restart on the weekend, because most loads picked up on Friday and delivered Monday. But if you had the one where you had to do a shuttle where you exchanged it, then you're screwed, because it's gonna be a long fucking weekend. You know what I mean? You ain't getting no break. We used to do that. We did that for a year straight, never stopped. We actually put our stuff in storage. It was longer than a year. But we were a team, and we've always been a team. May not be the perfect team, may not be the best, and we definitely fucked up a lot of shit. But we're still together, still going, almost 18 years. We were just talking about last night. And I couldn't do it without her. But now I have a great team helping me while she's doing her things, and we're moving in the right direction. Because now I couldn't do it without Isaiah or Kathy or William or Don or Justin or even James when he pops in and out. What team do you have? On your wall, what is your plan? What do you do on a daily ritual? What is your outline of your job duties? Do you keep a description to keep you organized? Like, do you get up at 6, hit Planet Fitness, or get up at 6, do your show, hit Planet Fitness, do this, do that, then get in, dispatch, noon, you do this, and that. Do you have a routine? Do you post with direction? 30 minutes. Sorry, guys. Hey, I hope you guys liked the video. Play it back, share it all over the place, join the group. If you guys need help with compliance, insurance, safety, audits, drug testing, your safety score's got warning signs on it, you need to know what to do. Lease agreements, applications, safety plans, maintenance programs, monitoring, people to write up your e-logs and audit them. You need drug testing. You need Betty to come and do audits. We love Betty. Betty is a rock star. If you guys don't know Betty Ledeen, she's always going. She's trucking. That lady works harder than anybody I ever met. Plus with their health issues. What the hell? Most of you guys sit around crying you ain't got nothing wrong with you. I know more sick people with cancer right now that are fighting it and stuff like that work harder with jobs than half the motherfuckers out there that don't. Trying to survive and not lose my lanes to $1 a mile to TQL. That's a good thing to do. Keeping the lights on. I froze.